Hello, everyone. Sarah here. Today, I want to talk about a sticky, touchy subject, and that is our weight and our appearance. Specifically, when we are on this journey of transformation, this journey of awakening, this journey of becoming aware of all the things that we desire. When you're in a toxic, emotionally abusive, unhealthy relationship, it's as if you've been living, sleeping, like literally sleeping next to someone that you told yourself you loved, you believed yourself you've loved, and many times had to convince yourself that you loved because the treatment that you were experiencing and receiving was not that of love. And so your mind is constantly, consistently filled with chaos, with confusion, and with clutter. And a lot of people express and experience, they try and figure it out naturally, right? It's natural to try and figure things out because our mind is a meaning making machine. And we don't like to really think about our mind like a machine. It doesn't make sense to do that because we're human beings. We're not machines. And we see that machines are very different from us. For example, this morning, my daughter and I were getting ready for school and she wanted to curl my hair. And this is the result of that. and we were having fun with it. We asked Google. We've got one of like the Nest or Alexa, or I almost said Sophia. That's her best friend's name. Siri, whoever it is that you talk to. And so we said okay, and then we asked, hey, tell us a joke, and then she started asking us different things and started going off about things that just didn't make sense. And we looked at each other like, what is Google talking about? That's not what we asked. And a lot of times the experience with a narcissist is very much like that. It's what are you talking about? That's not what I said. How did we go from this topic to this subject? I'm confused. I don't understand how we got from here to here. And that is the context of a narcissistic relationship. And when you're getting out of it, you're learning, holy guacamole, my childhood, my upbringing, my internal beliefs, my everything to do with this person had everything to do with those persons, right? With my original caregivers, with the OG people in my life who were toxic, who treated me a certain way. And it was in that certain way of treatment, I developed certain beliefs, and that shadowed and matched and mirrored the treatment I have for myself, which is a representation of the beliefs that I have about myself. So a lot of times that path and that road will lead us to things like PTSD, CPTSD, and exploration of all the D's, all the disorders, right? And the codependent disorder and the like the self-blame disorder and the self-harm disorder, like all these crazy things. All of those simply are expressions of symptoms. If you have this symptom, you might have this. If you have this symptom, you might have that. And then through that, we get attached to that and we form an identity with that. Yes, I am an identity as a person of someone who has that, and it really is breaking apart the identity and reclaiming and restoring, rebirthing, rebuilding a new identity that is the rebuilding of your life after having lived a life like that. And a lot of times we are experiencing impacts of it in ways that we wouldn't even thought to make sense of before. So, for example, you get out of the narcissistic relationship, and in it, things started happening that didn't make sense. You started either losing a lot of weight or gaining a lot of weight, but you find that your personal relationship with your weight and your identity felt so uncomfortable in who it was as it was that it wanted change. It craved internal change because it craved an internal experience that was different from the one it was currently having. And so we start to seek this change because we seek change. So we might not intentionally desire to gain weight, but we think, you know what? If I just get fat, they'll leave me. If I get fat, they won't want to have sex with me. And every time I have sex with this person, I feel disgusting. I want to rip my skin off because I feel used. I feel abused. I feel just utterly disgusting. I feel like there's no exchange of intimacy. There's no exchange of love. There's actually an exchange of disgust and disdain within myself. How am I with this person? and doing these things with this person that leave me feeling this way. And this becomes embedded in the beliefs in our soul. It becomes embedded in the experience and the identity that our soul has. So it truly becomes an identity crisis. And so many of us experience this. This is an identity crisis, and I desire to have a different experience. We understand it's all fueled by desire. And if we're labeling and attaching to things like PTSD or CPTSD or all of those, what we are really, truly, deeply desiring is a different experience with our own personal identity. We no longer want to be someone who identifies as that. We no longer want to be someone who identified as having anything to do with that. And we realized there are things within me that had to do with that. And that was a representation and an internal reflection of my self identity, this crisis within me that was represented and manifested through the crisis with this relationship, with this partner, with this person. And it makes us feel like we're screaming inside, but there's no sound coming out. We're screaming as loud as we can, but our voice is not being heard. And even when we get out of the relationship, or even when we try and say things using our own personal voice affirmations, I am healthy, I am beautiful, I am whole, I am strong, it's like that's muted. It's like it's constricted, and therefore it feels like the affirmations don't work, and the therapy doesn't work, and all the things that you're doing, because it's not getting to the core and the root of what you deeply believe about yourself. And so internally and unconsciously, you'll continue to experience having that desire to create that change, and it's manifested externally. So say you don't want to be lusted after anymore because there was so much lust and you desired love, and you realize those are on different frequencies and energies. So you unconsciously gain weight. You put on excess weight as a protective barrier and mechanism to keep people from lusting after you, getting too close to you. Because if they can be disgusted enough by you, they won't want anything to do with you. Maybe they'll leave you, they'll break up with you, they'll dump you, they'll move on to someone else, and that will make it easier for you so you don't have to leave them and then deal with all that dread. So your unconscious mind will do things that don't logically make sense, but they're always in the form of protection and safety. Okay, you'll be more safe if you gain weight. And it sounds wild, absurd, and crazy, but that's the way it works. You're not safe in this situation. You're not safe when you're being lusted after, like, ha 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 ha, fondled. And like, it just makes you feel good. And that doesn't feel good, and it doesn't feel safe. Let me give you something to help you feel good and safe and keep the predators away. Because there's a switch inside that says that's a predator, and that causes fear, that causes harm. And my job as your little brain inside is to keep you safe and keep you from harm. This excess weight will do just that. So it will make you happy. Your desire is to be happy. Your desire is to be free from that. And you don't consciously agree to it, because who wants to not be able to wear their wardrobe? I cannot tell you the number of clients I have to me and say, Sarah, I've got an entire wardrobe closet full of gorgeous clothes that I can't fit into anymore. So if you could just help me lose the weight, I'll be able to fit into my clothes. But it's really not that you want. You want an identity that feels safe. You want an identity that feels whole, that feels secure, that feels powerful, that feels self-led, that feels like you can speak up and use your voice with conviction, and not a quaky, wavery, please kind of voice. But a lot of people say that when I speak, it's shaky. And that's because when you speak, you're trying to convince yourself to believe something you don't. And that's what happens. And that's why it is so imperative and so important to get to the core and the root of really what's going on internally and unconsciously, and not try and mask it or just trying to convince yourself, oh, I just need this particular diet, or I just need to, just face it. It's hormones. I'm getting older. I know women and men who, are you kidding me? They look 20 or 30 years younger because they're healthy inside and outside. And their outside is a reflection of what they feel inside of their internal expression. It gets expressed externally and outwardly. And it's like, damn, Gina, I'm like, what? What protein shakes are you drinking? Ew, celery juice? No, I don't want to do that. You don't have to unless you desire to. So it all is fueled by desire, and a desire for a specific identity, a desire to have an identity that truly feels whole, feels safe, feels connected, feels full of purpose, full of passion, full of self-expression, and to do that without reservation or hesitation for what other people are going to think or say or do or believe about you, because you're you. So the desire is to really feel safe, truly being you, unapologetic and unafraid. And when you've gone through certain experiences in your past, it's connected to everything that is being influenced by your present day experience, by the things you say, the things you do, the things you don't do, the things you don't say. It's all intertwined, it's all connected. And a lot of us, when we've gone through experiences like that, feel so disconnected. Let's say in the case of this example, you put on excess weight, you feel disconnected from your body. It's like you can physically look at yourself and see this isn't me, and have the question running through your mind, what happened to me? How did I get to this place? Because this, this isn't me. And I'm trying to, I desire to just feel like the real me, this me that I know is in there that I can't seem to get to, that I feel disconnected from. I desire to deeply feel connected and safe being me and with myself. And that's the journey of this. And the fastest way to experience getting to that place where you desire to be and closing the gap between where you currently are and that space where you desire to be is to get to the core and the root of those internal and unconscious beliefs. And sometimes you can already logically know, you can think back on things that a parent said to you, like if you had a mother who was always criticizing your weight and like doing crazy horrible things to you, like forcing you to get on the scale and then belittling you because you gained weight, and realizing, I know that that's like something that my mind always goes back to, so I know that that's connected to it. But if that's where it ends, and you know that, you know the things that your ex used to do to you, or that your past partner or parent used to do to you, you know the horrible things that they used to force you into and make you do or have you do, and in those moments you felt powerless and helpless and hopeless, like this was never going to change and no one was ever going to love you because of that thing. Let's say in this case an example, because of the weight, because of the number that was on the scale. Now you're out of that and you can consciously go back to that memory. And a lot of times people will do this in EMDR, they'll go back to a conscious memory. But the problem is not the conscious memory. The problem is the internal unconscious belief that has formed and shaped your current present day identity. So it goes much deeper than that. And until you get to the core and root of that, you'll always live with the conscious memories that continue to trigger you, that continue to take you and pull you back internally and energetically to that belief. It is the beliefs that need transformation and change, not just the understanding of I can go back to that, but I still don't get it. I still don't know why, even though I know what was a link to this and a cause of this, why I'm still living with this. And that's the deep desire that you want to change, is to not live with this anymore present day. And that's the rebirthing, the reawakening of an identity that is truly you, without the connection to the stories from the past, from past partners or parents or things that were done to you, and the disconnection from this present day symptom. In this example, the weight is an expression, it's a representation, it's a symptom of deep core beliefs that you have about yourself, the identity that you currently have. So it's about rebirthing, re-emerging a new identity, the identity that is the real you, the genuine you, the true you, the authentic you, the fully aligned you, that has nothing to do with the events, the people, or the experiences in your past, because you logically know you can't go back and change that, but you deeply desire to be you and feel safe to be you, feel safe to be seen, feel safe to express all of you without connection to stories from the past. So that is the powerful transformational work that I do with people. People come to me with all kinds of things. Sarah, if I could just start exercising and lose weight, I'd be happy. Okay, let's do it. You're going to receive so much more. You're going to receive what you deeply desire to receive, and that is feeling safe within your identity. But weight's just the byproduct of that. So let's do it. So whatever it is, whatever you've gone through in the past, and whatever stories you have around who you are because of what you've been through in your past, those can be rewritten. You can't go back and change the stories that have already been written, but from this present moment, the future stories of who you are and the embodiment and the embracing of who you truly are and who you deeply desire to be and to become gets to be your present reality. I'd love to guide you on that journey when you're ready for it. You can find out more at sarahpicaro.com. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.